Make sure you guys mute yourself. But you are definitely going to be talking today.
Hey.
All right. Lucan, I'm going to mute you, bud. Oh, you did. Good. Okay, we'll get started here in just a sec. Let everybody join, all that jazz.
Morning, Mr. Clapper.
Good morning. We'll get started here, and like I said, just give a few minutes, let everybody get situated and stuff like that, and I'm gonna get rocking, get rolling. Again, everybody should make sure to have your videos turned on, okay? Again, make sure I can see everyone's pretty faces now. Everybody needs to have video on. Everybody does. So let's go. Oh my goodness gracious, look at you people. You're beautiful. Oh, God bless you. Oh my gosh, you guys are, well, some of you. Look at this, look at this. You guys look so excited. Maybe I should do like, have you guys do like push-ups or like I don't know about jumping down, or maybe get some sit-ups going, you know, working on the abs, you know, push-ups, you know, get a couple books and start curling it, you know. Oh my God, is that a smile out of few of you? Holy sweet Mary and Joseph. Oh, Peyton, don't smile. You're not supposed to smile. Stop smiling. Stop it. Okay. All right. So, like I said at the beginning of the year, we're going to have challenges. This is one of them. We have a choice to make. Do we either allow this challenge to define us, or do we define the challenge? That's what it comes down to. It's really what it comes down to, folks. We are faced with a challenge today, and for the remainder of the year, because who knows? We come back for 2 weeks, have a great, you know, month, and then we got to do this again. But we are faced with these challenges, and I refuse to allow them to affect me. Period. I absolutely refuse it. So we're still going to talk. We're still going to laugh. We're still going to do things. We're still going to drop our tablet, as my lovely student in this class just did, and break a $800 tablet. Nice job. That's a good job. We're still gonna do everything we need to do, and we're gonna have fun doing it. Dang it, we're not gonna just be, you know, bumps on a log and not have fun and not talk and not enjoy this and not laugh and not make fun of me and all that kind of jazz. So dang it, we're gonna do it in here, okay? And then in 2 weeks, when we can come back together, we're gonna get after it again. If this happens again, We'll do it again. It's just life that we live right now. And the thing you guys got to realize is that, you're I'm picking on Peyton here, but Peyton might have a business someday where she's a big time businesswoman and she has to conduct her meetings like this, and she has to run her corporate entity like this. You know what? This just might have to do it. You guys might, God forbid, become a teacher someday and have to teach your students like I'm teaching right now. I absolutely refuse to be a lesser teacher because of this challenge. When Dr. K sent out that email last night, I was like, all right, let's get after it. All right, let's get after it. So that's what we're going to do. Now, with that said, I'm going to start teaching you something that is incredibly important today. And not important because it's going to be on the test or quizzes or whatever else we do, but it's important because it gives you power. Each and every single one of you enjoys power. All right? You might not want to abuse it. You might not want to use it all the time, but you enjoy having power. And that power is the Bill of Rights. Now, if you don't already know, the Bill of Rights are your first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. The first 10 amendments to the Constitution. We're going to spend the next 10 weeks learning our Bill of Rights. That does not mean memorization. I refuse for you to memorize the Bill of Rights. That's not learning. We're going to learn them because they give you power. They give you the ability to defend yourself. All right. Now, the Bill of Rights was created in order to protect you from the government. Now, I'm not going to tell you my opinions on the government. I could be a full supporter of the government. I could be an anti-government. Doesn't matter. But I'm going to know my Bill of Rights so I can be better prepared to deal with the government. Your First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution is the longest amendment you need to learn. It's the longest one. It has 5 freedoms. So what I need you to do right now, because you already have it done, hopefully, is inside your notebooks that you should have already in front of you, I want you to go to a fresh sheet of paper. This sheet of paper is where you'll be writing your Bill of Rights over the next 10 weeks. So get a fresh sheet of paper out. Oh, the email. Sorry. I don't want to pull up my emails because there might be something sensitive, so I tried to check it on my phone here. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, so with that said, so let's talk about it. Now, the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution is the longest amendment that you're going to have to learn, okay? It's the longest one. But you could also argue it's a very controversial one, okay? So I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to know for the First Amendment, and then we'll briefly discuss this. You have the 5 freedoms of the First Amendment. Your first freedom is your freedom of speech. Write it down. Freedom of religion. Write it down. Now, even if you already know this, even if you're already a constitutional expert, write it down. And don't pretend to write it down like I know some of you are like, oh, I'm going to be moving my pencil, so it looks like I'm writing crap down. Don't do that. Oh, look at some of you showing off your notes. Gee's like, all right, we got to get this crap done. CSGO's calling me.
Mr. Clapper.
Yes.
Alejandro can't join the class, so he's on FaceTime with me.
Okay, Alejandro, I will add Alejandro. If you guys can never not join a class, let me know, okay? And I will add you. Let me pull up. I gotta do it by Alejandro's last name, so I gotta look it up real quick. Let me find Alejandro. There it is. Okay. I always gotta. Unfortunately, I can't just type in Alejandro. I gotta type in Alejandro's last name. And I'm inviting Alejandro right now. Hopefully he can get it. Yep, looks like you got it. Okay, if that ever happens, guys, again, let's talk about technology real quick before I talk more about the First Amendment. Please understand that technology is not going away. You are expected to figure things out. You are expected to make it work. Just because you can't connect somewhere, find a way to do it. And I love it that Peyton got FaceTime by Alejandro to get it fixed. That's awesome. If you can't do it, send me a message. I'll see what I can do to get you guys invited in. But trust me, technology is not not something that is going away. So we need to be prepared to deal with it. Okay. So with that said, to repeat, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of press, freedom of press. Freedom to peacefully assemble. Peacefully assemble. And last but not least, the freedom to petition the government. Petition the government. So, speech, religion, press, peacefully assemble, petition the government. Okay, we need to know all 5 of them because they give you power. These Bill of Rights were designed to protect you from the government. Now, can a private citizen restrict your freedom of speech? Yes, they can. Can a private citizen say that you have to wear a mask when you go into a supermarket? Yes, they most certainly can, because they are not the government. Now, could they be sued? Yes, they could be, but they can only be sued if they're discriminating against because of race or gender, sexual orientation. They cannot be sued because they're making everybody wearing a mask. Those people that are complaining about wearing masks, you can complain, but you can't do anything about it. So sorry. This gives you power. Now, there's a great deal of controversy when it comes to these amendments. And why do you think there's controversy, let's say, about freedom of speech? Why is it? Somebody unmute themselves and tell me, why would there be controversy around freedom of speech?
Well, because people might be able to like slander and libel them.
Slander and libel. Slander is spoken, libel is written. Yes, 100% true. They could say things that are untrue that could damage your reputation. What else? Come on, folks. Don't be afraid to unmute. Let's go. What else? What else would be controversy about freedom of speech? What about what is speech? Is speech just spoken? If I don't say anything at all, am I exercising my right to freedom of speech? Am I?
Well, I believe that even if people so all of us have the freedom of speech, people are still afraid to use it because everybody has it and it can be used against them.
Yeah, of course it can. But if I choose not to use my freedom of speech, am I using my freedom of speech? Yeah. If I choose not to say something, that's a speech, that's expression. If I choose not to pray, if I'm not a religious person, that's freedom of religion. And then you get into the controversy is what's peaceful? What's peace? What is peaceful? A petition the government is to make a request. What request is allowed? If I tell you folks to have a good day today, what the heck does good mean?
Peaceful.
What's peaceful mean?
Something like just not chaos.
What's chaos?
Destruction.
What's destruction?
Something that's not peace.
What's peace? We going around about Isabella, tell what in your opinion does good mean? Where you at, Isabella? You better be paying attention. Let's go. Unmute that microphone. Tell me what good means in your opinion.
I don't.
You don't know what good means? It's not a trick question. If I tell you have a good day, what does that mean to you? What does it mean? Can you answer that for me, Isabel?
Yeah, I just don't know how to
I
describe
know.
it.
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? And that's not a slight to you at all. You're very smart. That we say these things like, hey, take care of yourself. What does take care of yourself mean? Seriously. Like, I'll tell you, I'm going to bring you into my world. Miss Clapper, you know, I got to check my phone a lot. Miss Clapper sent me, I love you. Oh, so nice. What does love mean? She says, how is pod learning going? Well, I say it's okay. What the heck does okay mean? Does it mean I haven't freaked out on a child yet? Does it mean I haven't raged at somebody? I mean, we take these things for such I don't even know how to say it. Like, we just take these things for granted. You know, I just was over at Mr. Spalding's room, and he knew I was playing golf on Saturday. And he asked me, so how'd you hit him? I said, I hit him all right. What the heck does that mean? I shot like, I don't know, like a 76 or something like that. So I hit him all right. But some people would be like, man, 76 is really good. And I bet some of my golfers in here are like, I could beat that. You know, so I mean, again, it's so open to interpretation, and that's why things are so controversial. What's speech? What's press? What does even press mean? Does this mean the media? Or does it mean the ability to write stuff down? So that's why things are so controversial when we talk about these amendments. But most importantly, you need to know these rights. They give you power. And the beautiful thing, I got a lot of non-Americans in here. Guess what? When you're in the United States, you're protected by these rights. It does not say you have to be a citizen to enjoy these rights. So every one of you non-Americans, you got these rights just the same as I do. And I think that is a wonderful thing. Let's move on. Oh, so just so you know, next week we learn Amendment 2. Week after, Amendment 3.
Mr. Clapper,
Yes. Yes.
I have a question regarding those points that you were making. Like I'll be blunt. Like, what was the point of like addressing all of those? Like, what's good mean and like what's okay mean?
Okay. Because in order for you to exercise these rights, you need to know what those mean. Now, here's the scary thing, is that under the U.S. Constitution, you don't get to determine the what speech is. Judges get to do that. Our final say is our Supreme Court when we learn about what that is. So that is the interesting thing. But in order to first interpret this, we must first know that they exist. So that is why I bring that up. And also, it's to get you to think about the words that we use throughout the day and the
No,
expressions that we
I
get to use.
understood that part. Like, but you were asking us like, what's good mean, what's peaceful mean, and you know, what was the point that you were trying to get out of us?
To get you to think, bud. To
Okay.
get you to think. To get you to think about those types of things. And it just gives you an everyday example, because we don't think every single day about what speech is. We don't. We don't. But sometimes, for example, I went to Washington, D.C., and then we'll move on to some other stuff. I went to Washington, D.C., and there were some students there that were protesting abortion, the termination of a pregnancy. And in order for them to express themselves, to use their freedom of speech, they took red tape and they put it across their mouths, and they wrote abortion with a black line through it. That's speech. That's speech. I mean, it is 100%
So
speech.
basically, to use these 5 rights of Amendment 1 to the fullest use and like to be equally treated, you got us to understand what exactly it is by asking us those questions.
100%.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. All right. Let's go ahead and open up your notes from 1-1 so we can start chitter-chattering about that. While you guys are doing that, I just got to check something. Make sure. Okay. one student can't join, just. Okay. Okay, so what we kind of need to dive into now is kind of the foundations of really not just American history, but a lot of histories. And what we need to kind of start discussing today is really an understanding of what culture is. Now, I'm going to ask you folks that question. In your opinion, and I want some people that haven't spoken today, in your opinion, what is culture? Let's see here. Andreas, you haven't said anything today, but I see your beautiful picture there with a lovely piece of artwork behind you. Andreas, what is culture in your opinion? AJ, go ahead and mute your mic, bud.
Culture is something that we do together that's memories.
All right, so something you do together. Okay. I would agree. That is culture. Thank you. Let's see here. One, what is culture?
Something that's unique for like group of people, but like that's different for like everyone from like different places.
Okay, so
I don't know.
differences between, okay, that's fine. That's good. I agree. I agree. Roman, culture.
I think culture is a set of things that certain people tend to do.
Perfect. Awesome. Let's see here. Sydney, culture.
It's a tradition, whether it's just your family or it's an entire population of people. It's a tradition that you do.
Sydney, what kind of music do you listen to?
Musical theater.
Music. I don't know why you're laughing. That's completely fine. Let's go. Isabella, what kind of music do you listen to? It's not a trick question. It's not a trick question.
I don't know. I don't really. I
What
guess.
kind of food do you like? What kind of food do you like? You don't like food?
I mean, I don't really care. I just eat food. So.
What if you had to pick a restaurant? What restaurant would you go to? Chipotle.
No.
Oh, really? Wow. One of the
Ew,
first
it's
seniors.
really gross. Spoleto. It's like a pasta place.
All right, so you like pasta. That's culture. Let's see here. Let's see here. Who can I talk to? Yeah, let's see here. AJ. What kind of food do you like?
I like pasta too.
Pasta. You like the carbs? Enjoy them while you guys can eat them. Till you look like me, which is not a good look. That was a fat joke, by the way. You can all laugh at it. Ha 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 ha. Okay, moving on. Everything is culture, guys. Everything is culture. Now, the reason why I bring this up here is because in order to understand American culture, we have to understand that everything that we have discussed or everything we will discuss is culture. And the biggest thing that I will try to emphasize to you, because you're not going to remember everything I teach you, that's not going to happen. But what you do need to understand is we need to grow an appreciation for it. And there's really no better place to grow an appreciation for culture than Montfort Academy. I mean, look at all the different cultures that I have here, guys. This is so, I want to take a screenshot of you, including Peyton's lovely forehead because she's not in frame right now. You have a lovely ceiling vent, by the way, Peyton. Oh, it's a beautiful ceiling vent. Oh, there's a little bit better. But it's just the different cultures that we have here and the different belief sets, the different religions. That's all culture. And why we bring this up at this time is to gain an appreciation for it and how it's dramatically changed. Because really, when we talk about American history, it's the changing of culture. It's the development of culture. Whether we are fully understanding it or understand that it's changing, we need to appreciate it. Now, you would make the argument that the ancient people's culture was based around one simple idea. Really, really one simple idea. And what simple idea was that? Let's go somebody else that haven't spoken today yet. One of my geese. Let's see here. Any one of my geese, unmute your mic and tell me what do you think that their culture was focused around? Come on, somebody, just unmute your mic. Come on, we can't be afraid. Let's go. What do you think of it? Don't be afraid of it being wrong. I'm wrong all the time. Ask Ms. Clapper.
Mr. Clapper, what was the question again? I didn't hear.
The question was, what was the focal point of early, ancient, or very early peoples? What was their focal point of their culture? And you could make this argument for every culture across the planet,
Well,
I think 30,000 years ago.
I think for starters, they used to hunt for food because it wasn't as advanced as
Simpler than that. Simpler than that.
They used to be in herds most of the time.
Simpler than that. Survival. That's it. Their focal point of their survival. Everything they truly did was to survive. Was to really continue, as rudimentary as this sound, we can look at early, or look at animals and see our culture exists within them. Survive and make more. I mean, that's really what it came down to, folks, is that I want to survive as long as I can, and I want to make more. I want to continue my species. That's as simple as it gets when it comes to the foundations of early culture. Now, as it was pointed out, that culture was based around the nomadic traditions, about moving from place to place to place to place to place in order to find more food, better living conditions, better water, all safety for one. Safety is a big part of it. So we see this very rudimentary, very simplistic culture being, existent. Now, what's really interesting is, though as simplistic as it is, we share a very common trait. All of you do, no matter where you're from, no matter any other characteristic about you, we share a very common trait with early peoples. And that is a desire. A desire. Mariana, what do you think that desire is? And you not survival. Mariana, what do you think that desire is?
Did you say Marina?
Yeah, I said Mariana. Mariana. What do you think that desire is for those early people?
I'm sorry. Are you talking to me? Because you said Mariana.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
That's okay. No, that's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
Why'd you come to Montverde Academy?
Can you say it again?
Why did you come to Montverde?
To study and play tennis at the same time.
Awesome. Simple. Why? Why? Or better yet, what were you hoping to accomplish by coming here and studying and playing tennis? What are you hoping to accomplish?
I guess maybe to have a better life or opportunities.
Stop. 100% correct. A better life. You moved and will continue to move to make a better life for yourself. Same thing that these people did. They looked at a hill and said, if I go over that hill, I wonder if my life will be better. If I go that way, yeah, I don't really think they probably had those exact thoughts, but that's why they moved. The same reason why you moved. I mean, look at me. I'm originally from Michigan. That's 1,100 miles away. Now, for some of you, that's nothing because you've come a lot more than 1,100 miles. But I moved for a better life for Miss Clapper and me. I moved to Montfort Academy to teach here for a better life. That characteristic of saying, if I go here, my life might be better or it might be easier, continues on each and every single one of you, no matter your nationality, no matter your gender, no matter any other characteristic. Your desire for a better life drives you to take a risk. Coming to MBA was a risk. Coming to Florida was a risk for me. I moved away from my entire family. Some of you are maybe terribly homesick. You take these risks, you take these chances to make your life better. And that's what I want you to see, is that you have a connection with these ancient peoples, as though they were really trying to survive and really trying to extend their life and extend their species. You are doing the same thing, just in a different way. These early people were hunters and gatherers. They looked for food everywhere. They looked to pick up food. I mean, literally from the ground and shrubbery and trying different things. Now, luckily, about 5,000 to 10,000 years ago, we have a huge change in the way they try to survive. And you can see it on my screen. That's agriculture. Now they're starting to realize, if I stay in one place, my life is better. My life is better. But that doesn't stop movement, because then we get conflicts. Then we get, arguments over who gets the best land. We get conflicts that exist. We get wars that exist. Who gets the best land? Who gets the best territory? Who gets to control it? So again, though that people are starting to stay in one place, this agricultural revolution allows people to have a whole nother source of problems, a whole nother set of issues they have to deal with. Now they got to worry about other tribes, and they had to worry about that in nomadic times as well too. But by staying in one place, and this is a question for you, so by staying in one place, what did that give early people more of? What did it give them more of? Something you all would love to have more of, and don't say sleep.
Settlement.
Not more of, and you want this too.
Time.
The 4-letter word, time. It gave them more time. It gave them more time. 100% correct. More time. Time to develop languages, or I should say written languages. Time to get an art. Mathematics, yes, you can thank them for that. Maybe music. Different types of food. Different ways of cooking food. Different ways of living. Different types of structures. Different ways of raising your children. Weapons, tools. All of these types of things gave them more time to develop them. Now, please understand, this happened over thousands and thousands and thousands of years. It gave them more food so they could be healthier. It gave them varieties of food so they could live longer. Maybe medicines. All these things changed a great deal by giving people more time. So they're less concerned about survival and more concerned about living, like you folks do. I hope all of you are not worried about survival. I know this is a scary time right now. I do appreciate that. But I hope that you're not worried about survival. You're worried about thriving, about being a professional tennis player, about being a medical marvel and being a doctor or businessman or woman. That's what you're thinking about. You're not thinking about, oh my God, where's my next meal? I hope you're not. But you're worried about being, thriving within the environment. And that's something we see, and that's what we can really pay to these people, even though some of you probably don't have any heritage within the Mississippian people or the Aztec. Well, some of you do have Aztecs and Mayan and Olmec and all these different people, and the many countless civilizations that live throughout Europe and Asia and South America. But this idea of providing their civilizations more time allows them to become more unique and develop those unique cultures. Now we look at the Native American people, and why is it so hard to study the Native American people? Specifically the Native Americans. Anybody know why it's so hard to study them? And it's not because of how long ago they existed, because we have lots of civilizations that lived long ago. Anybody have a guess? If you're talking, guys, I can't hear you. You might be muted.
Well, I believe that because they were moving so often, they didn't settle, and that didn't give like researchers in the present age to study them properly.
It's a good guess, but that's actually not it. That's a good guess. Because we still have artifacts from them. We still have lots and lots of artifacts. They never developed a written language. The Native American people never developed a written language. They have obviously a spoken language, and they have what's known as oral history, which stories are passed down year to year. And they did a lot of stuff with, as we know in the Central American, they did a lot of issues with, pictures and stuff like that. But they never had a true written language, like an alphabet like we have today with all our cultures. So that makes it very, very easy because there's no like books or written information down for us to study, like there is with a lot of European and Asian cultures. So it's very difficult. Now we're not going to spend a lot of time looking at the Aztecs and Mayas because, again, that's more obviously Central American history. And we are going to talk a little bit more about the Mississippian and those people as we talk about some of the conflicts that they face with colonization and stuff like that. But we do need to know there's a great deal of cultural foundational cultural things that we're going to discuss. All right. So with that said, let's talk about tomorrow. Your homework tonight, as you might have already seen, is we are going to skip section 2 because we're going to talk more about this throughout the coming weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. I mean, we are 2 weeks or 3 weeks behind, so we need to go a little bit quicker, unfortunately. But what you are going to do is that you're going to take notes on section 3, West African societies. So that's section 3, excuse me. And there is bank on a reading quiz tomorrow. Let's talk about a reading quiz. I'm going to ask you 3 to 8 questions on section 3. It is open note. It is 100% open note. But I'm going to ask you questions on the vocab, or I could ask you questions about anything on these pages, anything on section 3. And you're going to have about 5 to 6 minutes to complete it, and it'll be right when we start class. Now, remember, as we found out with our syllabus quiz, if you leave the quiz, you're going to lose all your answers. All right, so you're going to want to have your written notes here, on a piece of paper, and then your tablet or your computer on the other side, and then you can answer the questions. If you read and take good notes, it'll be very, very easy. If you don't, it'll be very, very difficult because you're not going to have time to go into your textbook and look up every single answer. That's why it's a time limit, okay? So I'm going to ask you, and again, it's all percentages. Remember, I'm sorry, it's all points. So if you do poorly tomorrow, don't freak out because, again, it's all based on points, not percentages. If you get a 3 out of 5 tomorrow and the next day you get a 5 out of 5, that's like getting an 8 out of 10. It's not like, oh my God, I got a 60% and I'm doing terrible. Don't freak out. I do everything on points, which is incredibly fair to you folks. Okay. And now a lot of you are doing really well in the quizzes because a lot of you got 100% on your syllabus quiz, which was worth 10 points. So that'll be tomorrow. Okay. And then we'll start talking about it. Now, eventually we'll get to a point where I don't have you take notes. I simply give you a reading quiz and it's on you folks. Okay. So we're not going to worry about that just yet. We're going to start with the notes. So your homework. Read section 3. Take great notes on it. Upload those notes through a picture by 7:45 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then when we start class, you'll have a short reading quiz. The reading quizzes will never be more than 10 questions. Never will be. They'll be super quick. Questions on that? All right. You are then free to go as long as you say goodbye. Even if you're talking over other people, I want to see all your pretty
Okay.
faces tomorrow. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Clapper. Have a
Bye,
nice
sir. Have a great day.
Take care.
Bye.
Take
See you
care.
tomorrow.
Goodbye, Mr. Clapper.
Take care. Take
Bye.
care. Take
I'm
care.
Mr. Clever.
Thank you, Mr. Clapper.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Bye,
Can I
Mr.
talk
Clapper.
with you, Mr. Clapper?
Yeah, you have a question?
Actually, yes. I sent to you the. Do you know the first? Let me see here. Just a second. Let me see. Read and outline the chapter 1, section 1.
Yes.
Okay, I sent to you, but I did the whole thing, like the whole chapter. I didn't see. I
did the
didn't
whole
see the
chapter?
section 1.
Oh,
Yes.
good Lord.
And I sent to you. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do now.
Okay, what you can do is 2 things. Relax. 3 things. Relax. It's fine. Next thing is for your homework today or for due tomorrow, just take a picture of the notes from that particular section, okay?
Okay.
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 And that's what your homework is, and make sure to review it.
All right. Yeah, sure. No problem.
So you don't have to redo it, but just, okay, these are the notes from section 3. Here's the picture or multiple pictures if it's more than one picture, and then upload that. So you don't have to redo it, but just make sure to review them so you're ready for tomorrow, okay?
All right. All right. And do I have to send you again the chapter, the section 1, or it's okay?
No, I'll see it because I'm assuming it's the first couple pictures.
Yeah. That's it. All right.
All right.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.